All right, here we are behind the scenes. I love starting off in the green room because this is where it all goes down. Like, this is where you get like the real stuff. The other stuff is kind of like, who cares? So, Alicia, I see you sitting out there. I know you're in Jamaica, but you're inside cooling out with us. Take a moment, if you will. So I don't have to read this long bio over here. They'll see all your wonderful accolades. They'll Google you. They'll find you. Heck, you're in digital marketer. They're going to find you. Take a moment and tell us a little bit about the backstory. Like, who is Alicia? What has your journey been like? And what are you up to these days?
Yeah, sure. I've been in digital marketing now for 20 years. This is year number 20 for me. And I started off with my ex-husband trying to figure out what he wanted to sell online. Mm-hmm. So we worked together. In that first year, we made $500,000 US online. It was unbelievable. I'm like, this internet world is crazy. Fast forward 10 years, we were doing really well online. And I left him in 2010. Now, when I left, so we'd done really good, spoke all over the world, all sorts of great things. But when I left him, he locked me out of everything: personal email, business, everything, money, financials, bank account, and I had to start over from scratch. So through that process, I really learned that learning how to start online businesses is like knowledge is the new currency. Like learning how to start an online business, I just started over, picked myself up. Long story short, I'm now 10 years after that, and I've got 2 companies here in Jamaica, 32 employees total all over the world. And my sister and I rebuilt a business kind of on our own terms. But the beauty of the internet is that you can set up a business. The internet doesn't care about your past, about your degrees, nothing like that. It's just about what you can deliver, the expertise that you have, and just over delivering every time to build a good business. So yes, I live on the beautiful island of Jamaica. I travel more than 50% of the time, kind of all over the world, speaking and teaching people how to leverage the power of the internet to grow their online business.
I love it. And Oleg, we're coming to you in just a moment. But Alicia, I'm just curious. Some people talk about big whys. Others, like myself, like to talk about what's your mission? Like, what's your purpose for what you're doing right now?
What's really close to my heart is definitely helping women have their own financial independence. So I really do focus on women just because of the journey that I've been through. And, back then I didn't understand that a joint bank account meant that if he took everything out of the account, that I would be left with nothing. So I teach women, how to be financially independent so that you've got your own power, you're building your own business. And that's really my true passion. Also, both of my parents are from the Caribbean. My dad's from Jamaica, and so I'm here right now. And I teach people in developing countries how they can use the internet to go global and build an online business. So here in Jamaica, where the minimum wage is like $65 US a week, it's crazy bad. We have students making thousands of dollars a week, and their lifestyle has completely changed. So I teach it all over. I've been Nigeria, South Africa a few times. I'm going to, other islands, but those are my 2 passions: women and developing countries.
I love it. Women in developing countries. And Oleg, as you're sitting there right now, I just asked the question for folks that are joining. What's up, Pony Williams? What's up, Terry Copelson? What's up, Kevin D. Williams, my man down there rocking out. Franklin, is always a pleasure. Oleg, the same question. You heard me ask it a moment ago. Same question, which is, what's your backstory, man? What's the narrative that we really need to know?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me on this platform to begin with. I'm extremely grateful to be able to share my message as it comes to the individual stories that each one of us have. So my backstory is that I was not born in this country, as you're able to tell by the name. I was born in Russia and had lived there for my first 12 years of my life. Had experienced a set of circumstances that I think most people don't experience. As far as from a very young age, I really had to figure out how to become an adult, or almost like an adult. I didn't have a set of parents that really cared for me at that particular point of my life. And so what it led me to believe is actually about 3 to 4 years ago, I chose to take the next step forward within my own journey and within my own story, and create a platform for other people to be able to understand that their stories and their past, especially the traumatic experiences that we've gone through in life, they don't have to define your present or your future. And so when you spoke about the mission, really what my mission is to inspire people and help them understand that each and every single one of us has a story that's worth sharing. And I think oftentimes it is our story that kind of gets swept under the rug and we don't value it as much. But I'm a huge believer that all of our stories are the most undervalued currency that each one of us has. And the most important part of it all is that each and every single one of us has access to it at any given time. We don't need to go out there and purchase the latest book or get the latest course or whatever it is. I think it really just boils down to looking within and choosing and helping yourself understand that at any given time, you can rewrite your narrative, you can start over, you can pick up from wherever you are. And as Alicia, you were saying earlier, you had some events and things within your past, but yet you didn't allow any of those to define you. You didn't allow those to define your future. You stepped into it and you said, okay, so what those things happen? What can I do with it now? And I think that's the most important part for people to understand, regardless of what the circumstances may be.
Powerful, very, very powerful. And you both are talking right now. I'm super excited. I'm curious what the episode's about. I mean, you think I would know, right? But Rob Henson, I see you. What's going out there? Victoria Cooper, it's amazing. Katisha Batista's in the house. Hey, Donna, we got to connect soon. I'm going to ask first. I'll go with Lisa first. Tell us what should we expect today from this episode? What are you going to be talking about? And then we'll follow with Oleg and we'll ask him the same thing. For those folks that are tuning in, you're at the right place at the right time.
Sure. I'm going to be teaching people how to make money on the internet, how to create and launch their own products online, and what are some of the things that are hot right now when it comes to making money online. That's what I'm about. It's about making that money on the internet, and I'm excited to talk about it.
I can't wait. I know one of the big bold claims you had there was, you can do this with no followers and no list. I'm like, how in the LL Cool J are we going to do this? But don't worry. She made the promise, not me, but I'm going to ask her the question, how do you build an online course with no email and no followers? I said no followers and no list. How do you build a list? We're going to find out. All right, Oleg, I got to get going in a minute, man. Tell me I got to get going, but what can we expect from you, man? I know this whole story thing. What are you going to be talking about in this particular episode?
I think for me, what I'm choosing to focus on for this particular episode is really just a couple elements of how I was able to identify what it meant to be authentic within my lifestyle. So the 3 points that I really want to touch upon are accepting your past, understanding that you are unique, and telling your story. Those are 3 out of many other steps that I took within my own journey to help me recognize, as I'm sure both of you can relate, even when it comes to business, everything revolves around your narrative and how you present yourself and how you can communicate with other people. But I'm a firm believer that before that happens, you got to be able to connect to yourself so that you can connect with others and have a significantly more meaningful conversation moving forward.
I'm certainly looking forward to it because, one of our core values is the results that show up in your life. This is our belief. The results that show up in your life are just as important as the results that show up in your bank account. So for those folks that are watching right now, you're going to get results in your life. You'll understand your story, where you come from, be able to communicate that. But you also put some money in your bank account. Because someone look below the video and write ching ching. If you're ready for a little ching ching, if you're ready for payment of notification received in your email, if you're ready to be able to serve more folks, you tune in. I got the cue. We got to get going. They're telling me in 5. I can't wait. 4. Saucony Prince, what's up? 3. Hey, Shannon Griffith, I got your message. 3, 2, 1. We got to go. It's showtime, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait. This is going to be a lot of fun. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Thank you. Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, to inspire, and to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute the vision you have for yourself. That's how you want to live. That's the clothes you want to wear. It's the things you want to do. You have a vision for your loved ones. It takes resources, which means it takes money to be able to send your kids to a college of your choice. For you to be able to live in the house you want to live in. To be able to take the vacations. Some of you want to go to those fancy restaurants with the white tablecloths. You want to hang out, holler at your boy. I know you're out there. You eat that good food. And then many of you, the entrepreneurs, you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. It takes resources in order to purchase software. It takes resources in order to hire that coach. It takes resources to build a team. That means moolah. That means revenue. And so this show has a mission to provide you those resources. And I'm really excited because this morning, this evening, this afternoon, no matter where you are, you have Alicia Lyttle on one side and Oleg on the other side, and they're here to provide that. So I'm going to jump right into it because, Shauna, I saw you. You said ching ching. You got Dorsey in the house. She says, what's up from Houston? Send us some Houston love. I appreciate every single one of you. If you're out there right now, look below the video and say, it's my time. Just write those words. It's my time to build my business. It's my time to serve other folks. It's my time to make a difference in the world. So if you believe that this is your year, this is your moment, this is your time, look right below the video as we kick off and write these words. It's my time. Alicia, they're saying it's their time. You made a big, bold claim. You said you're going to talk about how you can build these online courses without any followers. Why'd you come up with that title? I mean, I'm just curious. Tell us a little bit about that title.
Well, I spent last year really working on rebuilding a business and said, okay, I'm going to build a business from scratch. I got some new business partners and said, I'm not going to use my old list. I'm not going to use any of my old resources. I'm not even going to spend money on Facebook ads, but I'm going to launch some new courses. So I launched a new course, and the first course I launched in January. During that launch period, it was like $98,890. And we had no list that we emailed it to, no Facebook ad traffic. I didn't even post it on my personal Facebook page. What we did was my sister and I created a course, and for most of the course, we just used a free screen recording tool called Loom, Loom. We recorded it, and I'll give you some other resources as we go along on how you can put up a course for free as well. But what we did was we focused on getting joint ventures. So we found people who had our future customers on their list. So I said, all right, I know that Shay's audience is an audience that would purchase this product that I'm creating. So I would reach out to someone like you and say, hey, I'm creating this product. I'll give you 50% commission if you'll mail and tell your people about it. And, we had a lot of people say yes to that. We gave them good commissions throughout a funnel. The funnel had 3 upsells in it. So the front end offer, once they bought that, we sold them something else. We're like, well, they have their credit card out. Let's sell them something else. And then let's sell them something else. And people bought. It did extremely well. And we realized, the formula for just starting kind of from scratch is really to find the right people who have our future customers in their database and on their list and pay them for promoting the offer.
Okay, I'm listening to you. It sounds like a perfect world, right? It really does. And I'm curious, what do you say? And I know you'll give us some tips in a moment. I'm just curious. You got the all-stars in the house. You even got Justin Burns in the house. He says, it's my time. You got Justin in the house. You got Chrissy Anderson in the house. Siobhan's in the house. Kamara's in the house. Dr. Renee Smith. You got the all-stars. And there's some folks that are out there listening saying, but how do you do that if you don't know what you're going to put into your course. So the first question they want to know is, did you have like all that, I don't know, is it called content stuff that's in this course that has to be created? Or did you just get out there and just launch it and you're kind of building it as you go?
No, we actually built it ahead of time. So one of the things that we do when we launch courses, and we launched, I think it was 9 courses last year, is that we just find one little thing that's working for us and we create a course around it. So, we used to create courses and say we need the whole method. We need the whole kitchen sink in this course. But for example, our course that launched last year, the first course that we launched last year, we were doing something for local businesses, and it's really one small strategy. It's just putting those tabletop tents on restaurants, in restaurants basically. And it had a system behind it, but it was one strategy. It was not how to do social media and marketing for restaurants. It was just how to sell this one strategy to restaurants and get paid for it. So then, so many of us have that one strategy, that one thing that we know how to do that's going to help another business, another person. So, when you find that one thing that you know how to do, create a course around it. So for example, we did all these courses around things that we knew how to do. And then I did other small courses. When I'm not in Jamaica, I'm in Jamaica right now. When I'm not here, I put my house up on Airbnb and it does really well. So I did a course on how to launch your house on Airbnb. And, just anything that we learn how to do, we do a course around it. My sister was making money off of TripAdvisor. She did a whole course on how to maximize TripAdvisor. So, these little things that we know how to do, we can make courses on them and people will buy them. Then we, make the course, keep it simple. Back in the day, this is my 20th year in internet marketing. Back in the day when we created courses, this, Shay, the course had everything in it, and people wanted that. But now we find that people just tell me one thing that I can put into action and that works. And that's what we really focused on. And that formula, it just works. One thing that works, teach it to me so that I can use that to improve my life, improve my business, make money, whatever it is.
So what do you say to the person that's listening right now and saying, I'm not a techie, okay? And they're listening to it, but they have a story, they have experience, they have expertise. And I know we're going to get into in a little while, the how-tos, but I'm just curious. The person, I'm not a techie. So do I got to go hire this whole tech group to kind of put this stuff together? Because there's videos and there's this and there's that. So I guess my question to you is, to the person who's watching right now and saying, sounds good, but I'm not a techie. What's your response?
Right. So for a lot of the things that we do, they're not technically difficult. So for example, if you know how to do something, get Loom. It's so simple to use. Record your screen, take that recording, and that's what you're going to put into a membership site. Like Justin Burns is here. He's got a great software called Maestro that you can pick up. But there's this great site, and I'm sure a lot of people on here have heard about it, but it's called Fiverr, right? Fiverr.com. And I'm telling you, even though we have a large team, I'm always on that site finding someone who can do the job that I need to get done. So even when it comes to client work, we're doing client work on Fiverr. So I have a law firm, for example, that's paying us to redesign their website. And the website redesign, it comes up to about $3,000 for the design to be done. Now, what we did was we just went on Fiverr and found someone who could do the website redesign. They're doing it for exactly $190, and we pocket the profits, and we don't have to be the techie that knows how to design the website. So when we leverage this site called Fiverr, and if you guys are not on it, you need to absolutely check it out. I promise you will be addicted to it. But when we need to get something done, if anything needs to get done in our business, for example, you're saying create a course, and I want to put it into ClickFunnels, but I don't want to upload anything myself, I go to Fiverr and find somebody to do it for me. You can find people to do absolutely everything for you, including design your logo, build your website, build your JV page, even reach out to JVs for you. So you tell them, hey, go research all the best-selling products, their leaderboards, find the JV partners, log into my email address and send them these emails. We've done that as well. So you can outsource absolutely everything today. we're in the age of you can do anything because there's somebody else out there that can do it for you.
So, and I know we're going to go to a commercial in a moment, and we're going to get into the how-tos when we come back. And as Oleg is listening over there, I'm going to ask him his thoughts in a moment, in about a minute or two, to just kind of frame how folks, even how their story fits into this whole online course part. But for you, I'm curious that folks out there, and there's some very seasoned professionals that says, I've got all this knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can talk about everything, or I'm good at a lot of things. I guess without giving away your secrets, how do you help folks boil down to this is where to start? Because for some folks, it's like they started so many projects along the way. I'm guilty of that. Here's how to build a 7-figure sales team. No. Here's how to write your sales scripts. No. And so my question to you is, how do you help individuals kind of boil down the starting place so they can get started and complete that and then move to something else?
Sure. Well, the first thing that I do is I always take pen and paper, right? And I'm like, let me just write down the 10 things that I could create a product on right now. And this is what I did in the beginning of last year. I'm like, let me write down those 10 things. And I wrote them out. And then I wrote down 3 points that I would teach under each of those. And then I put a dollar figure next to it. I'm like, if I release this into the marketplace, knowing a little bit about what I do, know about this industry and, researching some of the other products that I've sold, which ones do I think would make the most money? And I gave $5 signs to the one that would make the most money, all the way down to $1 sign where I'm like, I'm not really sure how that would go. And then I took my top 3 and I asked on Facebook and in some other Facebook groups, I'm saying, hey, I'm thinking about creating a course, and here's the 3 things that I've really done well, I love, I'm getting results in, and, I put the subtopics under each one. Which one would you like to know about first? And I was overwhelmed by, so many people picked, one, and, they said, I'd like to know about all of them, but hey, let's really dig into this one. I can't wait till you teach this one. So, we call it like, crowdsourcing the answer. So make a list. And then really go to different Facebook groups, crowdsource the answer, and you'll find out what people want to learn about. And then those same people that pick, like I did this in 4 groups, and out of those 4 groups, I got a couple hundred, maybe 200 people that chimed in. And then I went back to those people and I said, because you said you wanted this, I created it for you. Here's the link. I really want you to check it out. Here's a coupon code because you're a founding member or whatever. Make them feel special about it. But I had an instant audience of buyers and people who wanted the product because I went out and asked them what they wanted. So I recommend, that strategy or something similar to those people who have a lot of ideas and they're not sure which one to do first, and ask other people, and bring them in as well, and you'll find that you'll be successful at launching that first product.
I love what you're saying. We come back. Alicia is going to go ahead and break down. I know you're out there. Angela Wynn says she's out there. Shawana said, that was so me. Thanks for telling me where to start, because she said she's guilty like I am. What's up, Lavonda Hawkins, who's out there as well. You're really in for a treat, because you get an opportunity. We come back to hear what her step 1, step 2, and step 3 is. So if you don't have a list, she kind of talked about it a moment ago, but she's going to say step 1, do this. And step 2, do this. And then step 3, do this. And she's giving it. Now, I'm going to ask her to connect with you. And I'm going to ask her to give you something that can help you. So I'm going to ask her to do that. So you stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. And then you have Oleg, who is listening right now. And as she finishes, I'm going to ask him to talk a little bit about how does your story fit into this whole online piece, because you've got to talk about yourself or your brand at some point. And then later on, he's going to give us some really powerful tips on how you can really share your story. Here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go over to Connect Thigpen. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. She's going to talk about trust the process. I'm going to ask you to trust the process Alicia Lyttle is going to give you. Trust the process Oleg is going to give you. And if you have an idea and you're out there and you want to share below the video, if you listen to the podcast, you can't do it. I get it. But we love you. We love you for tuning in. If you're watching on Apple TV or Amazon Fire or YouTube or wherever, you can't. It's okay. But if you're watching and you can see below the video, Put down your number one idea for building a list. Like, it's okay. We all can share. Just look below the video and say, my number one idea is blank. But when we come back, Alicia's going to give us tips. We'll be back in just a moment. Dr. Kenneth Thigpen, take it away. She's down in Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll be back.
Hello, it's your girl, Dr. Kenneth Thigpen, also known as Dr. K, founder of Rise Women's Network. And Rise Women's Network is pleased to present to you hashtag Next Sister Up. I'm with you in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, and today is my January 1st. Here's your thought of the week. Trust the process. You see, when you trust the process, you are committed to sticking to the plan. Despite the challenges, despite feeling uncomfortable, you stick to the plan because you know that there's a divine plan moving in your life. You see, typically what happens is we want to take a shortcut in life. We want to take a shortcut in our business. We want to skip a few steps. You know, we like being up, but we don't like the feeling of being down. So keep these 3 things in mind as you're going through life and as you're going through business. 1, embrace the unknown. I get it. Unknown, the uncertainty, it doesn't feel good. It's oftentimes scary, but get ready to make space for all that is about to unfold in your life. Next, you want to be in the moment. Yes, it's one thing to have a vision and to visualize where you want to be. It's one thing to start at the end so you know where you're going, but it's important that you come back to the present, to the moment, so that you can take action and embrace and experience all that life has in store for you. And third, you want to believe in yourself. Yes, anything is possible if you just believe. And when you believe in yourself, it influences your success. And so I challenge you this week to not only trust the process, but enjoy the process. It's your girl, Dr. K. Make it a great day.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we have a mission, and our mission is to empower, to inspire, and to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And it takes resources to do that. It takes money. Imagine being Noah. I happen to believe in the Bible because I'm part of that, and that's what I believe in. It might not be your belief, and that's fine, but there is this Bible out there. Imagine Noah having a vision given to him by God to save others, and there's no resources. There's no hammer. There's no nail. There's no people. It'd just be a disaster. And maybe that's where you are right now. You're like, Shay, I just need the resources. I've got the talent. I've got the expertise. I've got the experience. I've got the heart. I already believe. So I'm going to ask Alicia to help you on this journey. And here's what she said. She said, check this out. You can get started and you don't have to have a list already ready to go. And so I'm going to ask her to give us step 1 and step 2 and step 3, things that you can do now that's going to help you earn 6 figures or more in the online space. She's cracked the code. She's here. And then I'm going to ask Oleg if he'll say, here's how to add the power of your story to take it to another level. So Alicia, you made a promise before that you're going to share how, at least 1 or 2 or 3 ideas. You can't do it all in one episode. But can you break it down for us? For those folks who got their paper and pen, if you're out there right now and you're ready to earn 6 figures or more online, and you believe you can do this, let's look right below the video and use the hashtag 6 figures no list. Now, she did say no Facebook ads. Isn't that cool? Like, we didn't run one Facebook ad even for the show. It's because of all of you. All right, Alicia, I got to go. Take it away right now. Give them step number 1. What's one thing they can do to really make that 6 figures online with a course?
Okay. So when people come to me and they say, I don't have the funds to buy a membership site or anything like that, how can I get started with having my first course online? And here's what I love to do. I do this all the time. I'm doing it. I think my next class launches on February 22nd. Like, I've always got classes launching with this model. I use Facebook groups and their social learning units. So inside, you start a Facebook group, and inside the admin of that Facebook group, there's something called how do you want your group to be displayed? I can't remember what it's exactly called, but you'll see that you can add something called social learning units. So activate it. Once you activate that, you'll see the units section pop up on the, like the navigation bar of your Facebook group. Now, what you can do is upload your content. I upload it in video format. You can upload it in documents as well. Upload the different units. Think of them as modules and courses. So inside unit 1, I have, for example, 4 videos. So let's say it's my class on, how to make money with design without even opening Photoshop, right? So I've got different courses within that, and in the social learning units, it's just a different way to organize your material. But Facebook social learning units allows us to host our online course inside of a Facebook group. You set it to private, so only the buyers get access to this group, but it costs you $0 to set up, and the experience is amazing for people inside the group. So when they're inside the group, when they finish watching a unit, Facebook prompts them to say that they have finished watching the unit, and that goes into the news feed for the group, giving everybody else social proof that people are going through the units. And then they're like, well, I want to do that as well. So they go in and watch that unit. It's really powerful. And then inside that whole model of the Facebook, running your whole course inside of Facebook using social learning units, we also you can schedule your lessons. So for my course that's coming up, it's 6 weeks. Now I'll be live in the group, but I'll also, inside of a Facebook group, you can schedule your post to go up inside the group. So every Monday night at 8 p.m. will be a new lesson from me, but they're all pre-recorded and they will just pop up in the group at that time, Monday at 8 p.m. So Facebook groups, absolutely amazing, absolutely free resource to use to launch a course. What I recommend is that you launch a challenge. So I'm always launching challenges. I charge about $200 for it. Gets people in the Facebook group, and then at the end of the challenge, you upsell them into, your next course and your next offer. Now, how do I promote this? Well, what I usually do are Facebook Lives. So I have found that Facebook Lives are so amazing for getting your message out there. So I'm doing a Facebook Live on my business page, but with my lives, it's never just me teaching. What I do is I have one student. So if it's a new course for you, bring someone in, teach them that course, get them results, and then interview them on a Facebook Live. So my Facebook Lives are always an interview with a successful student. I have them tell their story, and then we go into the strategy, why they're successful with it, and then we promote the challenge or the course at the end of that live, and it does really well. They usually share it. We always ask people to share. If you do want to spend some ad budget, you can also spend some budget by boosting that Facebook Live. But I have found that the key to Facebook Lives, I've done so many of them, and the ones that do well are the ones that I bring someone else on that tells their success story. Then the last tip that I'm going to give you is that when you create your course, and remember we said there's all these free tools out there to create your course. You can use Loom and different tools to create your course. I upload my course to these sites that will sell the course for you and give you a percentage of the sales. The most popular one out there is called Udemy, right? Udemy.com. So I've uploaded my courses to Udemy, and I walk away and they sell, and I get paid by Udemy all the time. Now they keep 50%, they give me 50% when they're selling it, but I honestly have never promoted it. I don't drive any traffic there. It's just traffic from that site, and I'm making sales. So it's a very easy way to make sales when you just start off. Now, you could promote your course when you upload it to a site like Udemy, but I really don't recommend it, because then people see other courses on the inside. Let them promote your stuff inside of Udemy. And there's a ton of sites like that. So there's Udemy, Open Sesame, Skillshare, Skillwise, Teachler, LinkedIn Learning. There's a bunch of sites like that want your content. They want you to upload it. And I find that once my course is uploaded into Udemy, I get all these other course, salespeople for these course sites contacting me and inviting me to upload my course into their site as well. They'll usually find me on LinkedIn and invite me to do that. So the 3 quick tips, the first one was, if you're going to create a course and you don't have a budget to build a membership site, use Facebook groups and use the social learning units. I have a budget to build it, but I still love the community that Facebook provides when I launch my courses and challenges inside of that. And then use lives. I love Facebook lives and Instagram lives, but I love them in helping to promote the course that I'm putting out there. And if you've got a budget, boost those posts. And my biggest takeaway from that is interview a success story. And then the last thing is upload your course to sites like udemy.com. Hope that was helpful.
No, it's very helpful. And as folks are taking that, I'm going to ask you to be able to share a resource with them. You know, one of the questions, you gave so much so fast. I love that. I love that. And I'm going to ask Oleg in just a moment to talk briefly about the power of introducing your story and what you should be thinking about when someone's interviewing you. So your question would be, you know, when you tell your story inside of an interview, you know, what's one of the reasons to make sure it's as powerful as possible. He's going to share some real ideas to break down that in just a little bit. You don't want to miss that segment. It's going to be totally incredible. But ask him, if someone interviews you in your story, what's one or two things you can do in about a minute or two that he'll have to answer that question. But as folks are listening to you, Lisa, they're wondering, sounds great, sounds wonderful, but at the end of the day, you know, who does Alicia work with? Do they have to be a super entrepreneur that's in business, that's making $1 gazillion? What if there's someone that's just getting going, or they're shifting professions, or they were an expert as a speaker, but now they're working in corporate America, but they still got experience? So I guess the question is, hey, what's up, Sakisha? Sakisha's out there. What's going on? Cynthia Green, good to see you. Back to you, of course, now. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Who do you work with? That's the question before I got sidetracked with so many wonderful people. Belinda, I see you all out there. Who do you work with, Alicia?
Yeah.
What type of client is ideal for you?
Yeah, I work with, one of my star students that's making a ton of money right now has a 7th grade education. She's a 7th grade dropout and a runaway. And then I'm working with a doctor right now, an eye surgeon, and we're creating her course and her brand. So one of the things I love about the internet is it's the ultimate equalizer, right? Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, yes, it matters in the course content you're creating and what you're delivering, but if you have the desire to create something online, I don't care if you just have a 7th grade education or if you're an eye surgeon, we all can do it. So there's, a simple formula to follow, and that is turning your knowledge, what's in your head, into something that people can actually learn from, cut out all the fluff, give them something that they'll get results from, and you'll see that the internet's the great equalizer. It really does not matter. I do, and I also sell courses that are as cheap as $10. I do keynote speeches for, $25,000. I do mastermind courses for $5,000 to $10,000. So my price points are all over the place as well. So a lot of times people say, oh, I don't think I should sell a $10 product. And I say, I'm selling a $10 product, and I just sold a $5,000 product to someone who just bought my $10 ebook. So bring people into your funnel, and you'll see that, over time, be persistent with everything that you're doing, stay on top of it, and you'll see success in the online space. It's open for everyone these days to be able to get their online course out there, to start their online course. And I'll leave you with this. I told you about that site Fiverr to go hire people to do work for you. Mm-hmm. Well, my sister and I are also on Fiverr, and we have services on Fiverr that we use as lead generation to upsell into our bigger services. So I know people on Fiverr. I know someone on Fiverr that's made over $5 million US working on that site. So there's so many possibilities out there. Don't overthink it. Just start somewhere and go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. One of the things I love to say is do small things well and get big results. And it sounds like that's what you're saying there. I'm going to ask you in a few minutes when we come back, I'm going to ask you to talk, to share a gift, a giveaway.
Sure.
So I want you to think about something to give. Y'all want to stay tuned. Oleg, as you're listening over there, I asked you the question. She says, I interview people. Someone says, oh my gosh, someone's going to interview me. It's always like, oh my goodness. For some folks, for others, they're comfortable. For others, they're not. My question to you in about a minute or two is, can you share some tips, ideas that someone can use if someone's asking them questions on how they can answer, so they can incorporate the power of their story, which I know you're going to go into. I know you're going to go to that in just a few seconds. I can't wait. This is going to be powerful. But go ahead and answer the question. What are one or two ideas you give or suggest to folks that are going to be interviewed so they can use their story?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind as you're getting interviewed and really being able to understand your story to begin with is understanding where to start, right? I think the biggest thing that you guys have noted throughout the segment that we've had so far is that the key essence is knowing where to start. It's not about knowing the whole how, right? So in a 2-minute segment or a 1-minute segment, whatever your duration is, first things first is understanding what is the time frame that you have to share the story. And then within that, how can you picture the past that you've lived and paint a picture around that to other people so they can understand where you came from and why you do what you do. I think that's the most important part that I try and communicate within that is, why do I do what I do? Why is it important for me to create a space where I can inspire other people to share their story and help them understand that their past doesn't have to define their present or their future. The circumstances that they were born into or experienced, they can work through. There are elements of it that they can accept. They can embrace and understand the hidden talents that they have within each one. So really, that's what it all boils down to me, is understanding that particular fact and how your story does play a big role in everything that you do when it comes to sales or whatever else it may be. I think when we look at the different companies that have been established in today's day and age, I always think of Apple. The reason why I think of Apple is because it doesn't even matter what they make, right? They make this iPhone, they made the latest version, and yet people still buy. And I think the reason people buy is because they understand the why behind that particular organization. So they believe in the why, they believe in the story, they believe in what it stands for, and that is creativity, reliable, quality. And so beyond that, it almost doesn't even matter what product you put out there. As Alicia mentioned, it's like that's what it boils down to. If you stay true to who you are and you reveal to people that you are a real human being behind that particular line of product, that's what people want to connect with. People want to understand people. That's what I firmly believe in.
Love it. People want to understand. People, look, we come back. We're going to break it down with Oleg. He's going to talk about the power of your story and give us 3 ideas you can use in your story. I've asked Alicia to dig into her treasure chest of secrets, to open up that big black box she has, to pull back the curtain, if you would, and release something that's going to help us all, why included, so we're all one family, really be able to make 6 figures. Online and give us details. So we'll come back in just a moment. We're going to go over now to the one and only Cynthia and James Green, and they talk about stay committed to the process. Yeah, how important is that? Let's go over to Laurel Merlin. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. You don't want to miss the power of your story, and you certainly want to get that free gift. I don't know what it is. I have a sense, but I can't wait to check it out. We'll be back in just a moment. Less than 2 minutes, by the way. Take it away, James. And, of course, Cynthia.
Hello, everyone. We are so excited to be here in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe. We are James and Cynthia Green with Marriage Built to Last, your marriage and relationship visionary strategists. And we're here to give you this week's Thought of the Week because guess what? Today is your January 1st.
Yes, and we're talking about power couples with a power vision. You have to have a powerful vision. And we talked about clarity, how you have to be clear on your biggest dreams, your biggest goals, what you want to achieve. We talked about purpose, which is a source of your passion. And you have to have a purpose on why you're together and what you're going to do together to grow, to go that level to level to level. And then we talked about your goals. What do you want to accomplish? Once you discover the process, once you discover your passion, once you discover your vision, now we're talking about being committed. That's the thing. You have to be committed to what you're going to do, committed to each other, committed to the process. We talk about the passion, the clarity, but it's all about vision. Where you're going, do you see it? And we always say you have to see it before you see it or you'll never see it. You have to see it, you have to have vision for it and stay committed to that process before it's manifested, before it comes to pass or you'll never see it. See, the thing is that once you stay committed to each other and to the process, that's how you grow together, and that's how you get to that next level. Because, it may take some sacrifice. And let me tell you, it may take sacrifice. But remember, sacrifice leads to success. How can you be successful if you don't stay committed to the process and committed to each other? The sacrifice, it leads to success, and that's your way to be successful. So we want you to remember to stay committed to the process, to your goals, to your dreams, find your purpose, get clarity on it, and then that'll allow you to go to that next level together.
That's right.
We are James and Cynthia Green of Marriage Built to Last, your marriage and relationship visionary strategist. And we always want you to remember, if you build it, it will last. And we're talking about building it the right way, together. Now, Shay, back to you.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country, where we're on a mission. That mission is to empower, that mission is to inspire, and that mission is to provide you, that's right, you the entrepreneur, you the mom, you the dad, you the single woman, you the single man, you the married person, or you the brother, you the sister, you the person that gets up every single day to work hard, make a difference in the world, pay your taxes, and leave a legacy. We want you to have the resources necessary to execute that vision. So I'm really excited because on this episode, we're talking about putting money in your bank account. This is all about ching ching, baby. Ching ching, ching ching. The more money you have, the more meaning you could have in the world. Ain't nothing like writing a check for a cause you believe in or changing someone's life. And so now we're going to go over to Oleg, who's going to be talking about the power of story. And this is very relevant because many of you, as you build your online course, you want to include your narrative as part of it, or you'll be speaking to someone to partner with, and they might want to know your narrative or your backstory, or you may be looking to partner with another vendor. So this is very important, especially for those folks that are ready to make money and get sponsorships. Your story is very powerful. So we're going to ask them some questions. It's going to help you. And then when we finish that, we're going to go back over to Lisa. I told her I wanted a gift. I told her I wanted her to break it down. And I'm going to ask her for a bonus. Don't worry. We'll just ask her. She don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is. We'll figure it out. All right. Oleg, my man, talk about the power of a story. Give us 3 things, if I can say it that way, that we can do to really increase the power of our story. But first, tell us why it's important, and then 3 things we can do to take it to another level. We're ready to have that online course. We're ready to share our message, but our story is important, man. Talk to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do so to begin with. So as I briefly shared what my story was, I was not born in this country. And for my first 12 years of my life, I had faced a series of traumatic events that put me in circumstances that I didn't really feel like I had any hope or anything to continue forward. And so I just continued to persevere and essentially develop drive and help myself understand that I am not my circumstances. So one of the first elements that comes to mind as far as really getting more connected to who I am as an individual was I had to accept my past, right? And the question that I asked myself is, which elements of my past have I had to come to terms with? Who are the people that I had to forgive? And it's a slightly different viewpoint from maybe the conversation that we've had so far, but because it is something that you have to dig deep inside, and it is a personal concept. But for me, that's what really clicked, was I started to look within my past and I said, what are some of the elements that I had to forgive? I just recently shared a letter that I actually wrote to my birth mom. And I put it out there on Facebook and LinkedIn and all the other platforms that I'm a part of. The reason why I did that is because I've noticed that some of the conversations that I had with people, it somehow always involved a relative or someone else within their lives that they had to forgive. And what I've learned from my experience was that before I forgave my mom for all of the events and everything that she had put us through during my early upbringing, I was carrying that weight on me. And I was actually not giving myself the proper love and the forgiveness to even move forward within my own story. So it was through releasing of that particular letter in which I said, I forgive you for all the events that have happened in their lives. I'm willing to put everything behind us, and I'm still choosing to look at you as an individual that I choose to love and respect, regardless of everything that has happened within our past. Beyond that, the second step that I've really understood within my own journey, and being able to identify what it meant for me to live an authentic lifestyle is understanding that I am unique. I mean, when I really break it down and when I look at my own individual journey and all the other people that are connected with, every single one of us walks a unique path within this life, right? No two experiences are alike. But yet what I've learned is that sometimes when we look at each other in just the different professions that we follow within this life, I caught myself doing the same exact thing. I would look at myself and I'd say, well, what makes me any different? Why am I any different than this person? And so as part of it, it affected my own definition and my own image of self-worth. I began to look at someone as myself as someone who was not as worthy or less than. And I think that that's really, for me, that's not the point of life. And when it comes to money or whatever the aspect may be, even though you might be making more than I am, or you're doing a different profession or at a different point of life, different point of development, that doesn't make you any more or any less than. It just is. And each and every single one of us travels a journey that's completely unique to every single one of us. And the third step that I'll share with all of you is tell your story. So I actually remember my first time that I shared my story of my early upbringing and having been adopted by a family from Ann Arbor, Michigan at the age of 12, coming here from Russia, not speaking any English, knowing very few words, not enough to even carry on a conversation. Hi, no, yes, no. You can only imagine, right, how far that's going to take you within any form of dialogue. And I remember that first time I was actually in the same car as one of my best friends, and we were driving towards Broward Mall in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And we stopped in a parking lot, and I completely broke down. And I broke down because for the longest time, I was carrying the weight of my past on my shoulders and not having any opportunities where I can release it and actually talk about the things that I've experienced and talk about the different ways that I choose to view each and every single one of those events. And it was through sharing that story that I was really able to step into that first layer of courage, finding my own space, right? When we talk about sharing your story, for the longest time, I thought that, okay, in order for me to tell my story, I have to get on a stage and I have to speak in front of X number of people. But really what I've learned is that you get to create that stage, right? That stage can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to be in front of a quote unquote 1,000-person audience. It can be in front of your best friend. It can be in front of your parents. It can be in front of anyone that you trust enough to share that aspect of who you are. And so for me, that's really what it boils down to, and that's what I choose to live as far as the work and the platform that we started with our organization called Overcoming Odds, is to really just create a space for other people to be acknowledged, other people to be heard, to be valued, and to be supported. And that's the most important part that I want to share with anyone, is that you are never alone along this journey. There's always someone else that has either followed a similar path or is trying to overcome and work through a similar challenge that you were working through. You know, there's a quote that I always go back to, and that is, there's a rainbow at the end of every storm. That's how I put every single challenge in perspective. Whatever I'm experiencing now, I understand that there's a rainbow at the end of that. It may take some time. You never know the time frame that it takes to go through it, but as long as I continue to maintain that hope, I'll understand that one day I'm going to come to that point of view.
Man, that's really powerful, man. What drives you to help other people with their story? I mean, where does this passion come from?
What drives me to help other people with their story is seeing the impact, seeing how it changes their own day. When I first was able to witness the impact that I saw by having other people share their own personal experiences, that's when it clicked. That's when it made sense to me that this is what I was meant to do. I think there are things within that particular journey that I had to develop as an individual. I mean, even approaching people with the right tone of energy and providing them that space and making them feel comfortable. A lot of the conversations that I have in today's day and age are first-time encounters. And so the question becomes is, how do you make the person feel comfortable enough in sharing possibly the deepest aspect about who they are, such as forgiveness. Like, who do you have to forgive in your own life in order to move forward with your story? And sometimes that's the hardest part to answer, because we don't want to disappoint. We don't want to possibly break apart a family, a tribe, whatever the group may be. But what I've learned was that when I started to do that, and I started to forgive people and accept the past for what it was, that's when I was able to step even farther into this narrative and help myself understand that I have a choice wherever I am along this path and this journey, to rewrite my story, to start over, to pick up from where I'm at. And that's the most important part, is helping myself recognize that there's a choice within all of this.
Yeah. And why do you think so many folks leave out or don't want to share that part of themselves with others? I know it's a struggle that I had, kind of sharing the weaknesses or sharing the failures with other folks. And maybe I'm alone, maybe I'm not. But why do you feel that a lot of folks, whether they're entrepreneur or not, why do you think they hold those deep inside as secrets? Like, I don't want anybody to know how I failed, versus releasing that, just based on your experience, man?
Well, you know what I've learned based on my experience was that there was a time where I used to do the same exact stuff. I hid behind the curtain. And for me, it started at a relatively young age. So I can tell you a time when I was living at the orphanage, when I was about 10 years old. One of the things that I've experienced were different forms of abuse. Physical, mental, every form you could think of it happened. And as part of that journey, what ended up happening was every time my sister came to visit me at that particular orphanage, I lied to her. She would ask me, how are things going? I'd say things are going great. The reason why I said those words was because the meeting room was directly across from the director's room. And I never knew if she was in that room during those particular hours, or if there was anyone else that was going to walk by and hear me say the things I was sharing to them. So after a while, what ended up happening for me was those lies actually became my reality. And then beyond that, what I've also noticed people have, myself included as far as a challenge, is that there are very few places in society where you can really share who you truly are or what you are really going through. I mean, when you think about it on our daily basis, right? The daily things that we do, go into a Starbucks, grocery store, a gym, how many times are you actually going to get a chance to connect with that person on a deep level? It's just not the way the society is set up. I make a joke as far as whenever I walk into a Starbucks and place that order for a latte, as soon as I'm done paying, latte for Oleg, it's as if they knew I was going to walk in at 9:38 a.m. on a Saturday morning at this, and then in 4 minutes it's done. So the time frame doesn't really allow me to discuss what am I going through.
Yeah. Powerful, man. Look, one thing that I respect, and just a last question I'm asking, how folks can connect with you, by the way. I appreciate you giving time. I know you got to run, got to get to another engagement, but I want you to take a moment and say, what do you say to the person out there that says, I don't know if I have the right words. I don't know if I sound like, you sound very professional to them. You know, you are. And they're like, I don't sound like that. Someone like myself, I'm a stutterer and been a stutterer my whole life. And they're thinking, can I really tell my story and really come across and people not laugh at me? Talk about that for just a moment, man. I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, you know, the biggest thing that I will share is that I used to be in the same exact shoes as most people are. What I'm doing right now and how I'm presenting it, it takes time, it takes practice. But beyond that, what I will say is this. The person that I am today and the way that I'm sharing my own story, it doesn't make it any greater or any less than compared to your own story. And that's the most important part, is that your story is your story. You get to choose where you start, right? The how you figure out through action. I mean, this platform, this podcast is all about uncovering the different tools that we can take within our lives to take the next step forward, right? What made sense for me when I started to share this story, my own personal story, was that at first I got extremely overwhelmed because I began to think about the how. Oh, I need to have the first 20 steps laid out. How is this going to work? How is this going to impact when my parents read this story? How is this going to change the relationship with my birth family that still lives in Russia? And yet I'm revealing all these parts about my life, some of them that I didn't even have a chance to talk to them about. But what I learned was that everything boils down to just start. Start wherever you're at with whatever you know. And then from there, it naturally grows, just like you have. I mean, when you think about you as an individual, right, you're an evolving process. Same thing success is. I think oftentimes we think that success is this destination that we reach, and then we say, okay, this is it. But really, to me, success is a journey. Every single day, I think we have a choice in telling ourselves that we're successful, regardless of what the outcomes may be. I mean, yeah, you may be broke as far as looking at your bank account and having a negative balance. But does that make you a bad human being? No. It just means that certain things may not have worked out as you planned, but you can still choose to tell yourself that you're successful because you're actively trying to improve your life. And so for me, and I appreciate you sharing your own aspect of your story, it really just begins with a start, right? Understanding where you can start with it and which aspects you can share. You may not be ready to share the full narrative. I mean, it took me a long time to come to terms as far as forgiving certain people, accepting certain elements of my past. You know, your story is like an onion. There are layers and layers to peel within it. But just understanding that just start wherever you're at right now. There are platforms that exist. For example, one of the things that we do when people come across our particular organization is there's actually a place where people can share their own story through our site. So when you go to overcomingodds.today, you'll be able to find a section where you can share it. And what we've actually done is we've simplified the process for you. So instead of you being overwhelmed and saying, hey, I don't know where to start, there's a list of questions that you can just ask yourself. And then we'll work with you and help you put together a narrative that you feel comfortable with and that you can use to get yourself to the next step.
Man, I'm loving it, man. Look, first, let me just acknowledge you for being authentic, for being real, for sharing exactly how you're feeling and sharing what's on your mind and how you helped other folks. Here's what I like to do in the time that you have, because I know you've got to go, and I certainly appreciate that. I want to give them the site to go to. So give me the site, and we're gonna see if we can pull this site up. First, we're gonna see if it works. So everyone listen very, very carefully, because sometimes people give me these websites, nothing personal, like they've never seen the show before, and it doesn't work. But he has a way that you can connect with him. So we're going to ask him to give us the site. You pull up your browser. For those folks that are out there that are listening, we can all follow along. So let's go there. What's the name of the website?
It is called overcomingodds.today.
Okay, because it could be overcomingodds.com. That'd be like, but .today. When today? So let's pull up. Let's go ahead and pull it up for me to check it out. Let me go here. You open up your browser, type in www.overcomingodds.today. When today? When's the best time to overcome odds? Today. Because today is your January 1st. Okay, I had to get that in. I couldn't help resist that. All right, so we're on this site. There's a lot going on here, man. But we get to the site. It looks great. You guys make sure. He said you can connect with them. So where do they go onto this site? Nice site, by the way, to actually connect with you. And where can they tell their story? Oh, here, tell your story. Oh, right here.
Share your story.
Right, I see it right here.
And through it, and then if you see actually any of the other stories, you'll be able to read.
Join our tribe. Oh, that's pretty cool.
All of the other narratives and the stories that people have shared. And so maybe even reading someone else's story will help trigger certain thoughts within your own mind as far as what you can start and what you can share of your particular journey.
Okay. I love it. So let's all go over to overcomingodds.today. I'm going to ask Alicia in just a moment if she'll just share, her thoughts as she's hearing you talk about the power of story and how that relates and ties into folks that got to include as part of their online course. And for many of you out there, you got to just include it in your everyday life or be able to release what's inside of you. So I'm going to ask her comments. We're here now, and we should click on tell your story, or should we click on join your tribe? What should we click on first?
Tell your story.
Okay. So let's just see if the website works here. Tell your story. Click. Okay, so I clicked it here, and it's doing something. Oh, it does work. Isn't this pretty cool? Share your story. All right. Oh, and they can connect with you on Facebook down here, it looks like, and Instagram and Twitter. Do these buttons work? Sometimes buttons don't work, everybody. They really don't work. Let's just see if it works. Oh, it works. Okay. I think it is. Overcomingodds.com. Okay. It's working. I think it is. I'm confident that we have a live site. Oh, just ask me probably some questions. Look, y'all don't want to see my Instagram site. And I'm saying, what's up? Holla. Okay, there we go. It does work. Okay, this is good. So I am convinced that he is the right person to connect with at the right time. He has the right message that can help all of us right now for where we are. And so what I'm going to do before we close out this segment, I'm going to ask the one and only Alicia, who's been sitting there listening, y'all seen her paying attention, to share your thoughts and comments on what you've heard so far. And then Oleg, I'll come back to you and give you some final thoughts before you exit out. And then Alicia, we still waiting on that free gift. Like, people have texted me and said, don't forget the gift, Shay. Don't forget the gift. Don't worry. We're going to see if she got a website. How's that? All right. But Alicia, right now, in all seriousness, what are you thinking, man? What's going through your mind?
Well, first of all, Oleg, I was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So while he was telling his story, I was really connecting with him on some levels there. But the interesting thing was that as you were telling your story, as you were teaching us about telling our story, we connected with you on your story. And what I liked that you did, something that I picked up, I don't know if you saw I was taking notes while you were talking as well, but one of the things that you really made evident, and Les Brown preaches this all the time, is that, when you made a point, you told a story with it, right? Mm-hmm. So every time you made a point, you told a story, and the stories that you told had a point. So that's something that we always do as we're creating courses and promoting those courses and interviewing people. And I will say that, we know that we have to tell our story in order for people to connect with us. And as we tell stories on webinars, and the free gift that I'm going to give out, Shay, is a webinar presentation, right?
Well, don't give it out yet. You can't go giving anything away yet. What are you doing? You got to say something. This is still TV. What are you doing?
But in when I teach a webinar, what I'm making the point is that I always tell my story. I always bring in the audience to tell my story. So I loved everything that you said, and I think that it's so important for people to understand the importance of telling their story in everything that they do when they're, presenting on webinars, from stage, creating a course, even when they are welcoming people into their course, like bring people into your tribe. You use that word on your website, right? You bring people into your tribe by telling a story. So I loved your presentation. Thank you so much. And I took some great notes. So thanks for that.
You're rocking, man. So for those folks that are out there watching, man, I know you got Jet. We're going to have you back on, obviously, as well. What are some of your final comments for those folks out there that are listening right now? They're over at overcomingodds.today, overcomingodds.today. What's one of your final messages to, like, Joyce Edith Hall, who's writing Overcoming Obstacles right now, Daryl Miller, who's listening right now, and so many other folks that are, like, tuned into you right now? What's your final thoughts?
My final thought is a message that my adoptive father actually passed on to me when I first came to this country. So I was adopted in 2005, and one of the first grades that I was put into was 6th grade. I didn't speak any English. I didn't know anything about this part of the world besides, like I said, just a few phrases and the name Michael Jordan. True story. My middle name is Michael because I thought that it would somehow help me immerse into the culture. That's the iconic name that I knew at the time. But the reason why I share that particular story is because there's a time when I was in 6th grade and I was experiencing a math problem. I ended up coming to my dad. We were sitting around a dinner table, And I asked him if he could help me solve that particular problem. Really what I was asking, because I was a teenager, so it's kind of, you're learning two languages at once, one how to be a teenager and then the other one's being English, was that I wanted him to solve the problem for me so I can go out there and play with my friends and enjoy some of these other things. But what he did beyond that has really changed my life. And this is why I think it's important to go back and actually express gratitude to people who have impacted your own life and really tell them why you choose to be thankful for the efforts that they've made in helping you become who you are. He sat down with me, he pulled out a white sheet of paper, and he said, I can't solve it for you, but we'll solve it together. And it was during that time when we were solving that problem, he had said a phrase that is a principle as far as how I continue to live my life on a daily basis. He said, son, never say you can't do something in life. It's the most important message that I've learned from my dad, because I look back at it now, and this is an event that happened 14 years ago. And every single obstacle that I encounter along the way, I continue to tell myself that I can do this. It's possible. When you were talking about Les Brown has a speech called It's Possible. And for those of you that haven't had a chance to check it out, please do so. Because what it does is actually reframes our own obstacles into new opportunities, right? And so the language, and this goes back to the power of our story, because our story is not only the story that we tell to others, but our story is also the story that we tell to ourselves. And so if we tell ourselves that we can't do it, that it's not possible, that how could I, or what gives me the permission to share my story, that's the story that we're going to project onto other people. And so for me, coming into this position where I can inspire others, I really have to be cautious about the story that I'm telling myself internally. And that story is that I truly can overcome whatever the obstacle is. I'm a firm believer that there's no obstacle too great to overcome. That where there's a will, there's a way. And as long as I continue to believe that and remind myself of it, that's where I truly put myself in a position of overcoming all of these challenges. I think to a degree, life is supposed to be challenging because challenges add meaning. Challenges give you opportunities to take a step back and reflect and understand your own existence. And that's where I think there's so much beauty within this life, because whatever it is that I'm going through, whatever it is that you're going through, it gives you a chance to look at life from a completely different lens. If everything was smooth and easy, it wouldn't require you to take a step back and possibly make a pivot, or even put yourself in a position where you have to make a decision. And I think that's the most important part for people to understand, is never say you can't do something in life.
Wow, that is amazing. That is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. As you're looking right below the video, what's up, Dorsey? What's going on, Linda Reese? As you're looking right below the video, write these words: never settle. Never settle. Hashtag Oleg. O-L-E-G. Hashtag Oleg. O-L-E-G. You got your own hashtag, man. You can do this thing. You can do this thing. Tell yourself, never settle. I want you to put that right below the video. Why? Because today is your January 1st. You get a restart. Today is your January 1st. You're going to get that course done. Today is your January 1st. You're going to get your butt off the gear and get to the gym. Do you remember those New Year resolutions you wrote down back on May 31st? December 31st, 2000 and whatever year you're watching this, you were excited. And did you realize that on January 17th was National Ditch Your Resolution Day? And you might have just ditched your resolutions. You might even remember what they were. But you can start over there and you can tell your story. And you can change the world. I like what you said about you create your own platform. This is not a recap. It's just a moment that I'm excited because today is my January 1st and I don't have to settle. Do me a favor. Look right below the video. Look right below the video. They're writing never settle. Jacqueline Fulton put never settle. Felicia Taylor Grant put never settle. Pamela Lou Hing put never settle. Dorsey, you got Dorsey. Dorsey's still hanging in there, says never settle. Loretta Booth says, never settle. Jacqueline says, this is powerful because you don't have to settle. Why? Because today is your January 1st. Today is your what? Today is your January 1st. I know you're gone, Oleg. I know you got to go, but give me just 2 minutes and you're gone because we got to get back to Alicia. We got to build this online course. We got to tell our story. We got to put this content out there. She got to give us something powerful because we've been waiting. But take 2 minutes. And when you hear the words, today is my January 1st, because folks right now, they're writing that. They're excited. They're going to get that course done. Sakisha, she's still watching. She's down in I keep saying Miami, but I think it's Orlando, Florida. Her and her husband, she's a pharmacist. She's watching saying never settle. Chrissy says, today is my January 1st. Y'all going to get that course done. Y'all going to tell y'all story. It's going to happen. When you hear today is your January 1st, Oleg, I know you got to run, but give me 2 minutes. What goes through your mind? And why is it important for people to make that decision to get a rebirth, a start over?
Mm-hmm. Well, when I think of that particular phrase, as far as today is my January 1st, what I think of is just the importance of a start, right? Starting wherever it is that you are. I think the most important part that I would like to pass on to people is that it's really not, it is about the importance of the date, but it's not. Because you can start at any given moment, right? You can start at any given moment wherever you are. You don't have to wait until tomorrow, because what I've learned is that the more that I waited for tomorrow, the tomorrow never came, because tomorrow always turned into a tomorrow, and then it went week, month, year, 5 years down the road, and you actually don't start. So what I choose to do, and it's really the hidden meaning even behind the website, is today. You can start that process of overcoming, working through, becoming whoever it is that you envision today, with whatever it is that you know. You don't need to know everything along this process. You don't need to know the entire how. The how gets revealed through action. The how gets revealed through commitment to yourself. The how gets revealed through commitment to the process, and believing in the process, and understanding that you will meet other people along this path who will be there to help you out. There's a video that I recently watched by Will Smith, and he talks about the importance of believing in your dream, and how when you believe in your dream and you believe in it with every single bone within your body, there will be other people that meet you along the way and say, okay, this person, he or she might be a little bit crazy, but like, I'm in. I'm going to help them out. I've had people like that. And that's what keeps me going, is believing in myself and knowing that I will meet other people who will help me open doors. Because the more that I choose to step into the unknown and this whole journey, the more that I begin to understand that I simply cannot achieve all of these goals on my own. You need other people to help you open doors. I mean, when I think about my own journey and who I've become today, it has all been due to other people coming into my life and opening a door, even in times where I didn't even know there was a door that existed. And that's the most important part that I want to pass on to people, is wherever you are, whatever the date is, just start today. Take a small action. Just take a stab at it. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Who's there to judge you? No one. Yeah. We're the hardest critics of ourselves. We are the ones that put such a high standard for the way that we choose to live our lives. And so what if other people may not accept you after you share certain elements of your story? Would you rather know that now, or 10 years down the road, when you have a serious hardship and you try and go back to them and say, hey, can you help me out? And know that they weren't even there for you to begin with. And that's the biggest thing that I try to do even with my network and my tribe, is I really try and understand, well, who's really there for me? Because when something drastic happens and you really need somebody else's back and you can't turn to them, then what was the point of thinking that that person was part of your network?
Very, very powerful, man. So true. Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. Tell Kevin, tell Brian I said hello, by the way. You rock. I know you're from Ann Harbor, Michigan, but you're down in Austin, Texas, man. So I'm going to hook up with you when I'm down in San Antonio, which I'm there often. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to bring this thing down the home stretch. We're going to bring down the house. You're going to tell your story. Today is your January 1st. You're going to put that online course up, and you're going to be paid more for what you know than what you can do. If you are ready to be paid more for what you know than you can do, if you believe today is your January 1st, look right below the video, and write these words. Today is my January 1st. It's my time. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to go over to Rob Howes. He's talking about be present where you are. And then the next voice you're going to hear is Alicia. I'm going to ask her to bring it down the home stretch. And I want to know what she's going to do. I might ask for a double bonus. You know what I mean? We waited. I might have to. She might have to give us a double bonus. This is because we in triple overtime. I got to go. I see y'all. Rob Howes, take it away. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey guys,
All right.
me and Daddy are here.
All right, I'm doing a video.
I got a question.
No, it's not a question. This is a video where I'm telling people something. I'm telling them that today is their January 1st. Today is your January 1st Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, because today is the only day you got, because tomorrow's not promised and yesterday is gone. So the reason why today being your January 1st is significant because it keeps you from procrastination. Procrastination is the destroyer of dreams. Yeah, it's the destroyer. It's the killer of dreams. So take action. Be present where you're present. That's the real gift. Be present where you are present. That is the real gift. Today is your January 1st. Say today.
Today.
Say today is your January 1st.
Today is January 1st.
Say it loud.
Today is January 1st.
That's it. Don't forget it.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country. We're on a mission to empower, to inspire, and to provide you with the resources necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And boy, are we doing that today. We're in triple overtime. There's overtime, and then there's double overtime, and then there's triple overtime. And many of you, Sakisha, Felicia, Dorsey, many of you wrote down today is my January 1st. So, Alicia, take a moment and share what is one of the bonus gifts you have. First, give us an idea. Before you give us a gift, give us an idea. Give us one idea to help us get this online course going. And then share a resource. Share a gift so we can stay in this conversation over and beyond tonight. We got to have you back. We got to go into a lot more detail, but we can't wait till you come back because we're ready to have our January 1st. We're ready to be paid more for what we know than we can do. And you're the person to take us to the promised land. Talk to me.
Right. Here's the idea that I want to leave you with. And it's the idea that e-learning is where you need to focus on creating your own courses. And let me tell you why. The e-learning, the global market for e-learning is expected to exceed 241 billion, billion with a B, by 2022. So how much of that market? You just need a piece of that market, right? That's billion with a B. And so when we think about it, I think about how LinkedIn spent $1.5 billion in 2015 to acquire the online learning platform, the platform lynda.com. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but lynda.com publishes online courses, and this was LinkedIn's largest acquisition, right? Buying this e-learning platform. And other great companies, we've got the great courses, masterclasses, Skillshare, Creative Live, Udemy, and they're popping up everywhere. And investors are putting a ton of money into these e-learning platforms. Even Oprah has her own e-learning platform. It's called Own Life Classes. So there's plenty of room in this marketplace for players like you and me to make a good living publishing and selling online courses. It's a really good opportunity, and there's a great chance, I guarantee it, that you have some specific knowledge and insights that someone would pay money for, right? So what is that you have? Maybe you need to pull it out of yourself. I'm going to help you do that. Maybe you need to pull it out of yourself, but you need to know that you have something that people are willing to pay you money for. And let me just say, I've got 3 questions that'll help pull it out of you. Number 1 is, what do people always ask you for advice about? All right, think about that. What are they always asking you for advice about? If you're not sure, look in your phone at your last 5 friends that called you, call them on the phone and say, hey, what do you always ask me for advice about? What am I always giving people advice about? And you can create a course around that. The next thing is, what's something that you've learned that you can teach other people? So something that you learned that you love, and now you can teach it to other people. And then also the last question to ask yourself is, what topics am I knowledgeable about that I can talk about, that I enjoy? What are these topics that I can dig deeper into and create an online course around? And as you think about your course title, I want you to think about this. Think about saying, how to blank without blank, right? So how to get paid to do graphics without opening Photoshop. That's one of my best-selling, small courses. So how to blank without blank. And when you start to do that, you'll start to think of all these things that you know how to do. How to win at blackjack without being a gambling guru. But mine I love is how to get paid to do graphics without opening Photoshop. So think about that, and you'll be able to come up with an easy course title that you're able to now say, all right, I understand what I need to start creating my courses around. And starting an online business requires such a small startup cost, especially compared to traditional business, that I really want you to commit and say, I have skills and knowledge that people will pay me for. I know that I can put together an online course that will deliver value, and then start thinking about what that course would be and what you would teach. And I've told you some of the platforms, the ways that you can set it up, the ways to drive different traffic to it, to bring people into it and get them involved. So I'm just going to say, take action, right? Take action, and make sure that, as you're on this journey, you understand that the action that you take and the things that you implement lead you down to the path of success. And that's been my biggest takeaway from last year, is setting, as an entrepreneur, setting deadlines for myself. I'm going to launch this product on this date, and I put it on a calendar. I use platforms. One platform is called Warrior Plus, and the other is JV Zoo. I announce it on those platforms. I tell all my JVs that I'm going to launch the course. So I have no choice but to stick with that date. Sometimes that's long nights and lots of nervousness, but getting it done, set a deadline, announcing your deadline holds you accountable. And I found that that's been one of my, biggest ways of achieving a course within a certain time frame. Now, the special bonus that I have for you. So what I would like to do is I would like to invite you to just listen to a presentation where I jump into this a little bit deeper. And it's called Launch Me 2020. So you can just go to launchme2020.com. And
you're supposed to wait for me. I mean, guys, she's just off and running. I mean, she didn't say, Shay, I'm ready to give a gift. Shay, it's gift time. She was just, you can hear her passion.
I love it.
You can hear her willingness to serve. You can hear that she believes in what she believes, and she knows what she knows. And she really has this whole mission of helping every one of you. No matter if you have no email list, no text list, no Facebook Messenger list, no bot list. If you don't know what they are, don't even worry about those, okay? No retargeting list. It don't even matter if you know about all those things. You're just like, look, I just want to help someone else. She's going to show you how to do that and start where you are. So now I get to do my part, which is I get to ask her the name of the website. And then I got to get to do something because she has all the great information. Come on, somebody. I know y'all are ready. Y'all like, Shay, stop interrupting. Can we get to it? No, I got to pull it up so the world can see what's going on. All right, so give us this esteemed website that you couldn't wait to give, by the way.
You're so great at this, by the way. You are so great at this. Okay, so the website is launchme2020.com. Launchme2020.com. And I'm just talking about
launchme2020.com. We are here. Now, you might not be there yet, so open up a browser. Open up a browser. You've done this before. It's not your first rodeo, right? And then type in launch, LAUNCH, me, 2020. She was very clear about that, 2020. Now, once you have that open, hey, what's up, Sean Mason? Once you have that open, Sanaa, you made it, yay! Now, you can go ahead and we can follow her instructions. It's a very short site. I don't even know what the site's about, but it looks like it's about something here. Enter your name, email, and phone number below to get more information. So let's all click the button. Let's see if it works. Wouldn't it be embarrassing if it doesn't work? But you click the button too. Let's all do this together. We're gonna all take the class together. All right, now I got another form. Let me fill this out. Now I don't want y'all looking at my information. Talk to him if you would. I don't want y'all stalking me. Talk to him if you would while I fill this out. I gotta fill this out. You fill it out too while she's talking.
Sure. So you just fill in this form, and on the next page, it's going to invite you to register for a webinar. I think right now I just have it automatically. It will play the last webinar that I did.
Yes,
and then it'll also register you to come on to listen to a future webinar. And I'll send you, tips. And what I like to do is send you tools and different software that
it
will
works. So I'm in now, right?
Yes, you're in.
How to launch yourself online while working from anywhere and making unlimited income. We need to ask her to write our headlines. Maybe she does a class on writing headlines. Isn't that just a great headline? No, seriously. I mean, that's just like an amazing headline. Like, okay, think about it. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But at the New York Times, they paid two people $150,000 each. Two people, $150,000 each to do nothing all day but write headlines that you'll read. And I'm reading her headline right now, and it's amazing. Isn't that great? So now, do we need to register here to make sure we get this class? Do I need to register here?
Register there, yes.
Okay, so I got to do a double, another opt-in. Okay, fortunately, I use Dashlane, so it's filling it in for me. Everyone, let's all click the button together. Let's all click the button together. Sean, I hope you're doing this, by the way. Register. Click. All right, so I'm in,
hey,
and it'll take you somewhere. Let me turn this off. Okay, so we know it works. Now, Sean, just for fun, somebody out there, you got these folks that want to know what's one of the reasons why they should watch this particular webinar. Like, if you had to give one reason why they should watch it, what's the number one reason we should spend 45 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour of our time watching this webinar? I'm just curious.
Right. Because I really believe that if people, I encourage you all to go out there and try to launch your own projects and courses and that sort of stuff, but I want to help you along the way. So if you do this by yourself, you might pick the wrong topics or not understand the target audience. So I just want to give you a little bit of help to give you some great examples of what I was able to achieve last year. So I give you some really recent examples. I talk about the past, and I give you some really recent examples. And then I also walk you down why this is the best time to launch a product. And even, if you're ready to spend a budget on driving traffic, how you can outsource it. And I give you someone you can, that you can pay to drive traffic to your product, to your course. So it's just an online presentation that will help walk you down the path of how am I going to launch my own product and how am I going to make money from it? And, what am I going to teach about? So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it's something that I absolutely mastered last year, launching products online, creating them quickly, launching them fast. And I just invite you to join the presentation if you'd like to learn more about launching a product. And then I'm also going to send you some tips in email. So we'll have some fun.
So basically, she's saying, go do it, ladies and gentlemen. Go do it. Don't do it because I endorse it, but I'm doing it. I've already signed up. I'm already in. You see, I'm already in. Here's what I want to ask you if I can, and I know we got to run, but I was talking earlier about today is your January 1st. And for those folks that are hearing that, that's one of our values, is one of our beliefs, that your past does not equal your future. That any day, any moment, you can make a decision. Like right now, you can make a decision. You're truly going to get this online course going. You can make a decision that you're going to start where you are. And today, your January 1st, represents that moment where you make a decision and it forever changes the trajectory of your life. The question I have for Alicia is twofold. One, when you hear the words, today is my January 1st, what goes through your mind? What are you thinking? And then number two, what was your January 1st moment that you made a decision? Because you've done so many things along the way in business that you said, you know what? this is for me right now?
Good question. So when I hear today is my January 1st, what it does is it gives me permission to forget about the mistakes that I might have made yesterday and focus on today and what I'm going to do going forward. So I really love that I've written it down that you said that, and I've watched your other show where you say that, other shows where you say that, but for me, it gives me permission. I don't know how other people feel about it, but it's like, all right, now I have permission to start over, because a lot of times as we're, exploring what we want to do and we feel like we're not getting anywhere, we fail, we just kind of get deflated. But the time of the year that we all look forward to is January 1st, when we have total permission to start something new and be excited about it. So it's the best time of the year for me. So every time you're saying that, I'm like, woo, today is January 1st. I get to start over again and, be fresh and energized. That's what January 1st does for all of us. So you say, you asked the question about a January 1st moment for myself. And the thing is, I think I've had so many January 1st moments. It's kind of hard to pinpoint one. But I will say, through having to start over in business, having a super successful business with my ex-husband and being thrown out of it and had to start over, there was a January 1st moment for me. And it was the moment that I was laying on my sister's sofa thinking I was a multimillionaire yesterday and I have a negative account balance today. I don't have an email list. I don't have, everything was just taken away overnight. And I was, depressed and saying, why me? And I know a lot of people have been in that same situation where you're laying on your couch and thinking, why me? Why is this happening to me? I did not deserve this. And I got a call from Les Brown. And Les, a good friend of mine, great friend at the time, and he was saying, Alicia, you might have fallen on your back, but if you can look up, you can get up. And I'm saying, did you really say one of your quotes that you always say, And he said, yes, I did, and gave his laugh. And he said, this is Les Brown, Mimi Brown's baby boy. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And then he said, he repeated it 3 times. He said, get up, and then he just yelled it, get up. And that was my January 1st. And I was like, I might not have anything today, but tomorrow is going to be different. And I thanked him for that. I thank him for it all the time. And sometimes I just tell people, get up, get up, get up.
I love it. Get up, get up. You got to get up. And once you get up, you have to keep putting one foot in front of the other foot, in front of the other foot, in front of the other foot, in front of the other foot. You got to keep on going no matter what. Let me say a couple things. One, Alicia, we appreciate you. You have such a heart to serve. You have such a heart to give. You've been giving and giving and giving, and well over the time that we thought was going to be here. Before we got started, she never asked me for a Cash App payment. She never said send her a PayPal. She never said, Shay, you got to Zelle me any money. She just said, Shay, I'll be there. And we asked. We said, would you please come share what you get paid to do with the Happy Entrepreneur family? And she said yes. So I'm going to ask her if she'll also have her final thoughts to kind of close us out. When we come back, we'll give her an opportunity to get her thoughts together, give her her final thoughts, her final comments, and to empower us, to inspire us, but also let us know where we're going and where the future is going with this whole online course thing. This thing is amazing. I'm committed. I know I fall off the bandwagon a couple times. I know. But I'm back on the bandwagon. Today is my January 1st. We're going to make sure we finish this. We're going to make sure we do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. With that being said, we're going to go over to the one and only Delano A. Johnson. And Delano A. Johnson's up in New York. So nice, they named it twice. And he says, I refuse to live talented and broke. I don't need to say anything else, do I? We'll be back in just a moment with her final thoughts. Stay tuned.
I live in a city where there are more creative people per square mile than any other place on the planet. Question is, how many of them are successful? How many are just like I was, talented and broke? Being broke is more than just not having money. It's failure to turn opportunities into profitable businesses and relationships that last. My mother always said, people perish for lack of knowledge. A compass takes you in the direction of your destiny, but knowledge of obstacles and distractions will ensure you arrive safely. My mentor once said to me, if I had half your talent, I'd have 4 times my wealth. Since then, I made a promise to God. If He would help me unlock my earning potential, I would pay it forward and help others do the same. That's why I wrote this book, because God made us too talented to live our lives broke. That includes you.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country because of you, the happy entrepreneurs that exist out there today. So we're on a mission to provide you with the resources you need necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you are called to serve. And for those that watch today, this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whatever time it is for you, even if you got your hands a hold of this long-lost video file, you happen to be watching, I want you to know that you're incredible and that you're amazing and that Alicia and Oleg earlier, they gave the best they had. And I'm going to encourage you to share that. Hit the share button right now if you haven't hit the share button. Hit the watch party if that still exists. Hit that button right now and pay this message forward because we believe in the giver's economy. The giver economy says the person outgives the competition, out-earns the competition. And so we want you to pay this message forward. When you hit the share button, write these words, never settle, hashtag keep on going. Just put never settle, hashtag keep on going. So Alicia, once again, let me say thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for giving, thanks for serving, and thanks for doing so much that you're doing right now, helping folks really not only earn money online, but others to be able to learn online. Everybody thinks it's all about the money, but think about the families you're impacting, the mom, the dad, the single mom, the single dad, the person right now that's got access to the internet. And because of that access, they have access to your online course. And because of your online course, they're able to solve a problem, change their life, start their business, transform where they are, learn how to do social media or whatever it is you teach. Yeah, you got paid, but it wasn't about the money. It was about the meaning. And it wasn't about the income. It was about the impact. And yes, you did make $1 and a difference at the same time. So with that being said, Alicia, turn it over to you, man, to give your final comments and thoughts. Again, thanks a lot. We appreciate you so much.
Well, first, let me tell you how much I appreciate you. The show is great. Everything that you're doing is great. You've got such a great impact. I'm going to tell you a story and all your viewers a story about you now. So back in 2012, I met you through Myron Golden and Dr. Stan Harris.
Oh, yeah.
2013. Maybe it's 2013. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
At that event. So at your event, I spoke on the topic of turning your passions into profits. Mm-hmm. And that presentation was recorded and put up on YouTube. So I'm going to encourage everybody at any opportunities that you get to speak at, take them. So Shay gave me this great opportunity as I was on that path to rebuilding. This was about 2 years after I'd lost everything. I was on that path to rebuilding. And that video that was put on YouTube was seen by a guy that was looking for a keynote speaker to speak at an event that would have 200 small business owners in the audience. So that presentation from your event was found on YouTube. He asked me to be the keynote speaker. I said yes. I ended up being the keynote speaker, and the people in that audience, the business owners in that audience, I spoke on social media for local business, and those business owners were so hungry for what I had to teach that opened up a whole new business and opportunity, which is my social media agency called Pow Social, located here in Kingston, Jamaica. So the point of this story is, which has made me a ton of money, and I thank you so much, was it not for that video put on YouTube, that guy hunting for a keynote speaker would never have found me. So the point of my story is, for those that are listening, is, do your best to take advantage of some of the great opportunities that are going to be thrown at you, and make sure that you, when you do take advantage of those opportunities, that you milk it for everything that it's worth. Today, with social media, our message can go so far, and we never know who's watching, who's listening in, who's looking for us. So I'm going to encourage you to, look out for the great opportunities that you're being provided with. I just want to say a huge thanks to Shay for all that you do for this community. I mean, I even watched you like when you were just on vacation, and I watched your videos, and I'm like, I gotta step it up. Like, you motivate us to be better. You motivate us to step it up and to, be on a different level. And the way that you give in the beginning, before we started, I'm like, I watch your show. What are you using? And you told me the tools that you're using, and you're willing to help. Like, you're so willing to help, that your audience is so blessed to have you. So I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do. And sometimes you don't, I've told this story to Justin Burns and to other people about the way that the one event that you had me speak at, how it's impacted my life. But, you don't even know the things that you're doing and how it's impacting people. So Shay, I just want to say, keep going, keep doing it. And to your community, stay close to him and listen to what he has to say, and jump on every opportunity that you can to work with him and be at his events. And it's people, like him that make the world a better place for the rest of us entrepreneurs. So, I'm a happy entrepreneur today, and even happier because of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You rock. That was amazing. We appreciate you. Thanks to all the viewers. Thank you to every single one of you. Make sure you connect. Go over to Launch. What is it again? Launch something 2020.
LaunchMe2020.com.
LaunchMe2020.com. Stay in the conversation. Continue to connect. Never settle. Look below the video and write these words: that today is my January 1st. You get a restart. Today is your January 1st. You're going to get your business going. Today is your January 1st. You will impact lives. Why? Because the best is still yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. With that being said, by the way, for those folks that are just tuning in and don't know who I am, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise every single one of you will make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless. We wish you success. Alicia, you rock. Thanks so much.
You rock. Bye.
You rock. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Thank you. God bless.